And we have a warm-up in the forecast coming up. I'll have those details.
And a routine traffic stop turns into a rescue of a kidnapping victim.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Kansas Highway Patrol trooper has found a missing kidnapping victim. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Melissa Alexis. A Kansas Highway Patrol trooper stopped an SUV for a traffic violation. He discovered that the passenger in the SUV had a warrant for his arrest from another state for kidnapping a 6-year-old girl. The trooper noticed the girl in the vehicle, but she gave him a fake name and date of birth after being coached to lie. Ultimately, the trooper was able to find out her real name. She'd been with the suspect for over a month on the run. The 6-year-old girl was unharmed, and the 2 men in the SUV were taken into custody. About 2:45 p.m. on Saturday, there were reports of a residential structure fire at County Lane, 294 and Imperial Road. The Carl Junction Fire Department, Jasper County deputies, and Met's ambulance all responded, with Asbury and Oronogo fire departments requested as mutual aid. The home suffered extensive damage, and the fire had spread to the attic by the time the firefighters had arrived. No one in the home was at the home at the time of the fire, but the family is now displaced. The cause of the fire is being investigated. For years, residents in southwest Missouri have dealt with the application of industrial waste of their land from waste disposal companies. Missouri Senator Jill Carter held a public meeting to educate the public on what is being done to help regulate this issue. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
People in southwest Missouri are fighting to regulate companies using land to dump industrial waste. Missouri Senator Jill Carter visited Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop to meet with the community and educate them on what's been happening.
This land application of sludge has been something that we've been dealing with for quite a few years. We got the legislation passed last year. Obviously, that has alleviated a lot of concerns down where I live in Neosho area, Fairview, Mack County, but we're seeing a little bit of influx of that concern being spread up here to Webb City in particular.
According to a representative from the Department of Natural Resources, the waste, referred to as sludge, is made up of waste from meat and dairy processors, pet and animal food plants, and more. Carter has been working with local farmers at the Capitol in Jefferson City to put regulations on the companies using Missouri as a site to dump waste.
A group of cattlemen up a few weeks ago, sat down. We also had some of the companies who pick up the industrial sludge. They were a part of that meeting, trying to get all stakeholders together in one room to have the conversation with DNR about how and what to do to help businesses, help farmers, and help our communities is critical.
People who live in the area say they would like to see a change in how this waste is regulated.
For me, I would like to see the waste from food processing and industrial manufacturing. I would prefer that not go to the land, if possible. And right now, there's no avenue for that.
The dangers of the sludge include the potential transmission of pathogens.
It can have bacteria that is commonly known to cause food poisoning, but more importantly, it can have avian flu. And avian flu, depending on the form it's in, can live up to 21 days on the land. And so then our wildlife and other things are exposed to that.
Residents say it's time to find a way to make legislation happen.
Trying to come up with positive ways to make change. I think a lot of the social media has been negative, and I don't think that's productive. So I would prefer to reach out to people in the industry, people in the government, citizens, and let's find an answer to the problem that's good for the land and the water and for us.
In Joplin, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
According to Senator Carter, updates on legislation should be available to the public in the next 31 days. It's been a quarter of a century since the opening of the farmers market in Webb City, Missouri, where community members are given a chance to sell their handmade or hand-grown items. The Webb City Farmers Market's mission is to provide fresh food and a place for people to gather. The market operates year-round and will have their spring kickoff event on the 19th of April. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a look at the forecast.
Well, temperatures right now, we're in the mid-60s. We're going to continue to warm up with reaching temperatures in the low 70s. Outside of that, it is a beautiful day. We have some upper level clouds, but not a big disruption to the sunshine coming through. Now, over the next several hours, we are going to see some of these denser clouds and lower level clouds pushing into the area for a couple of hours, early afternoon to mid-afternoon, and we're going to see a little bit more darker skies because of these clouds, but limited chances for any rain. Might see a little sprinkle or two, especially up in the northeast, but overall today, it's going to be mostly cloudy by the time we hit that high. Temperatures reaching the low 70s. We do have elevated fire risks, mostly for grass fires. No red flag warnings, but definitely be mindful of that as we head through the rest of the week. Temperatures are going to continue to warm up. We're hitting mid 70s tomorrow, about 75 for the high, and you can see mostly sunny skies as well. But we do have rain chances in the forecast starting Wednesday. I'm going to have those details coming up.
Thanks, Lindsay. The Department of Justice plans to deport 3 more alleged Venezuelan gang members using a wartime authority. That's despite a court. Natalie Brand has the details from the White House.
Trump administration officials tell CBS News nearly 200 migrants, including alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang, were on board a Sunday deportation flight to Venezuela. It comes ahead of a major court hearing this afternoon over the president's use of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to expedite deportations, something administration officials have staunchly defended.
This is supposed to apply if the U.S. is at war with a country. You are saying you have evidence that the government of Venezuela is directing these gangs?
We are saying that TDA is acting as a proxy of the Maduro regime. This is how the Alien and Sedition Act applies.
But a federal judge directed the administration to halt the deportation flights stemming from that wartime law, raising concerns about a lack of due process for the migrants. It's a decision the DOJ appealed.
The administration has not provided evidence or details about how gang affiliations were determined, with some family members of the migrants deported disputing ties to Tren de Aragua. And the administration is vowing to continue mass deportations of undocumented migrants.
I don't care what that judges think as far as this case. We're going to continue to arrest public safety threats and national security threats. We're going to continue to deport them from the United States.
CBS News has confirmed reports the IRS is close to an agreement to share tax data to help immigration officials find migrants in the U.S. illegally. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There are strict laws governing the release of taxpayer information. Coming up, Pope Francis is resting at the Vatican for the first time since being hospitalized. And later, we're making graham cracker cake in the Mr. Food test kitchen. Pope Francis is resting at the Vatican for the first time since being hospitalized for double pneumonia more than a month ago. The 88-year-old was discharged on Sunday. Chris Livesay reports from Rome.
It was a long-awaited hello. What became the longest hospital stay in Francis's papacy could very well have ended in goodbye. Thank you to everyone, the Pope said with a frail voice, then found time to compliment a woman with yellow flowers. It was the first time the public had laid eyes on the Pope in the flesh in more than 5 weeks.
It's a moment we didn't know if we would ever see.
Absolutely, yes. We were not sure about this, in which way it will go. But it seems that God listens to the prayers of the whole church.
Pope Francis may be coming out of the hospital, but he is not out of the woods. Doctors say he'll still need 2 months to recover, and he's going to have to avoid large crowds like this one. That is a big ask for the people's Pope.
Francis made his hard-won exit in a trademark low-key papal white Fiat, waving from the window. We could see nasal tubes for the oxygen therapy he continues to receive, a reminder of how serious his condition remains. For weeks, the faithful gathered every night in St. Peter's Square to pray the rosary. Now, both his voice and his body reflect the toll of double pneumonia, but his spirit, his doctor said, remains unscathed.
Pope Francis's doctors also said he nearly died on 2 separate occasions in the hospital. Remember, we, just like everyone here, were preparing for a possible papal funeral. But today, Pope Francis is stable and he is finally back home. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Rome.
They say the Pope is doing a lot better, but he is still in recovery. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, we're giving graham crackers a leading role in a dessert that's not what you might expect. Any ideas as to what we're whipping up?
We also have a nice warm up in the forecast this week. I'm going to have those details right after this. Well, we're heading into a week with much nicer temperatures and even weather. Let's go ahead and take a look outside. Downtown Pittsburgh looking really good. We got some upper level clouds, though it's not really blocking out the sunshine, so it's still a really pretty day today. We will have denser clouds moving in a little bit. As you can see, pushing in from Kansas City, you can see Wichita also pushing in some lower level, denser clouds into the area, which does block out the sun just for a brief couple of hours this afternoon. We also are seeing a drop in relative humidity, less than 20% for quite a few of us. Not a big risk for fire weather, so we don't have fire weather warnings, but it is an elevated grass fire risk. And then throughout the rest of the week, humidity levels go up just slightly. Now, on top of that, we also have these winds gusting 25 miles per hour. This is mid-afternoon, it's about 3:34 p.m., but dies down very quickly, down to 15 mile per hour wind gusts later on this evening, and then even lower than that as we work our way through the evening and into Tuesday as well. Temperatures are getting up to about 71 degrees. By 6 p.m., we're just now dropping back down into the upper 60s. We can see clouds started to already clear by 6 to 8 p.m., and then we're getting to the upper 50s by midnight. Overall, it's going to be a really beautiful evening. Temperatures tonight dropping all the way down to about 48 degrees in the Joplin area, Miami, Parsons, even up to Yates Center. We are starting the morning off a little cloudy, some partly cloudy skies. They break up a lot, so we do have mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies throughout the day on Tuesday, and not a risk for fire weather. So overall, it's going to be a really nice day. Plus, these temperatures hitting about mid-70s, 75 degrees in Joplin, 77 in Parsons, 76 in Miami. So it's going to be much warmer, much nicer weather tomorrow especially. And then we start our chances for rain. Isolated showers, isolated thunderstorms, those start Wednesday and continue all the way through Saturday. Now, these are very, very hit and miss showers, and we're not expecting a severe threat. But you can see a little line of showers pushing through north of Nevada. We got another little isolated shower just outside of our area. A little pop-up thunderstorm out there near Jay, Grove, Bella Vista as well. That's going to be what we're seeing pretty much for the rest of the week. Most of us are going to be sunny on Wednesday, so this is 5:30. Joplin area, again, getting into the low 70s, clear skies, same out in Kansas. So if you're not going to see rain, you're likely going to see either mostly sunny skies or partly cloudy skies. And that continues even into Thursday as well. Thursday morning, another little isolated storm down there in Arkansas, kind of moving just south of Monette, right along that Missouri and Arkansas border. And then a couple isolated sprinkles out in Oklahoma. But a lot of us are still going to stay dry. So it's a very messy upper level system. We've got a lot of little shortwave troughs pushing through. Overall, it is not going to be widespread rain until we get into Saturday night and Sunday, where we could see our most rainfall kind of hitting our area Sunday. So about half an inch. Chanute, Joplin, even down to Bentonville, not widespread. So most of this is going to be pretty isolated with our highest potential for widespread rain Saturday night and into Sunday. But we've got these low chances starting Wednesday, 10% chance, but 20% all the way through Saturday until that overnight system moves through and continues into Sunday morning, where we could see some morning storms. But look at these temperatures. I mean, we're in the mid 70s pretty much all week. We do go down to lower 70s, but overall, if you're not going to see rain this week, you're going to see that beautiful sunny skies, clear skies, temperatures in the mid to lower 70s. It's going to be overall a really nice weekend and not a severe threat either, but Saturday and into Sunday, that's where we're seeing those thunderstorm chances a little bit more widespread, where we could see maybe some low-end severe threats. But outside of that, not too bad.
Yeah, that's some good news. I will say this morning on the way in, it was pretty cold.
A little chilly.
So that's some good news to see these higher temperatures.
And the overnight lows, I mean, all through the week. Tomorrow, we're starting off still a little cooler, upper 40s, but the rest of the week, 50s for overnight lows. So I can't complain.
A lot to look forward to. Thank you, Lindsay. Stick around. We're making graham cracker cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is making graham cracker cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Over the years, we've used graham crackers in all kinds of recipes. We've crushed them and mixed them with melted butter to create the die-for crust for everything from cheesecakes to homemade pies. And everyone knows that if you sandwich a chocolate bar and a toasted marshmallow between a couple of them, you end up with ooey gooey s'mores. But today, I want to show you how to make an easy as can be recipe that turns graham cracker crumbs into a cake that's amazing. We begin by creaming some butter and sugar. Once that comes together, we mix in a good amount of graham cracker crumbs, some eggs, baking powder, milk, and a bit of vanilla. Now, after stirring in some coconut and pecans, we spoon this into a baking dish. Over that goes a pineapple glaze, and into the oven it goes to bake. After it cools, get ready for a cake that's packed with flavor, thanks to the graham crackers. And boy, is it ever moist. To get your hands on our graham cracker cake recipe, all you have to do is check out our website. You know, I think you'll really be missing out if you don't try this one. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a sweet change of pace way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, that looks delicious. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Well, temperatures today are still warming up, getting into the low 70s, though we have a little patch of cloudy skies there until they clear this evening. Now tomorrow, sunny and 75. A few clouds in the morning, but overall beautiful weather. And then we start our very isolated chances of showers Wednesday all the way through Saturday, but temperatures are still going to be beautiful. And if you're not seeing the rain over the next week, then it's going to be pretty nice, sunny and partly cloudy skies, but overall really great week.
I'm loving those temps.
Oh yeah, me too.
Sounds good. And we could use a little bit of rain. It's
yeah, we always
could.
could.
So it's not all bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm glad to see the spring weather's finally here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Coming up tonight at 5, how a 3D printer helped save the life. His skull was crumbling. We'll take a look. Plus, we'll have ways you can find relief from allergies this spring. And how anyone of any age can get free tax preparation through AARP. Join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. That's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.